Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
This is the Roger Stone Show, presented by Colonial Metals Group.
A man who's gone through hell, but he's kept going, and he's smart, and he's strong, and people love him. Not everybody, but people love him and respect him. Roger Stone.
Now, here's Roger Stone.
You're back on the Roger Stone Show, and joining me now is Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is a former U.S. congressman who represented Florida's 1st congressional district from 2017 to 2025. Matt's known for his outspoken style and his strong conservative values. Few Trump supporters have been more viciously or baselessly smeared than Matt Gaetz, but he just kept fighting. And now he is building a new identity as the host of the very, very good Matt Gaetz Show on One America's News, where he is emerging as one of the most influential conservative voices in the country today. Matt Gaetz, welcome to the Roger Stone Show.
Thanks so much for having me, Roger.
I've enjoyed being on your new show. It is the hottest show in town, and congratulations on that. We were talking earlier on the show about this left-wing domestic terrorism against Tesla, the so-called Tesla takedown, and the attacks that are happening across the country. What sort of investigation do you think should take place? What should America do about this? What should the administration do about it?
What I'm personally having to do is just endure the whiplash. Because wasn't it just like 20 minutes ago, most of the leftists in this country wanted to force us to all buy an electric vehicle, and now they're burning down electric charging stations? Like, did any of the eco-terrorists or domestic terrorists doing this spend a moment thinking about the carbon footprint of this terrorism against Tesla charging stations and Tesla plants? Think about all the carbon that's being emitted, the destruction of air quality. Those might have to be federal Superfund sites for like the next 100 years. So I am in a bit of shock over the whole thing. It also says something else about where the movement on the left is right now, and they are leaderless. They don't have the closest thing they have to someone standing up saying, I am in charge, follow me, this is what we believe, are Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They're the ones drawing the crowds, having the rallies. But Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, this band of loser governors they have, Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, Meg Whitmer, these people are not sufficiently channeling whatever energy exists on the political left now to better ideas, to seizing innovation. I mean, like, the Republicans didn't inherit the tech bros. They were driven out of the Democratic Party. We didn't, get the whole crypto community. It's because Kamala Harris and Gensler and the whole crew was hyper hostile to that community. And so we are actually now the welcoming community, and they're the people burning down the charging stations for the car that they wanted to force you to buy 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, and you make an excellent point. They, as a party, they have no platform. They have no positive proposals. They have no way to create jobs or deal with the affordable housing issue in America. They seem committed to endless war, where our
right.
national interests are just not clear. They don't even want to negotiate. Under Biden, we had no talks going whatsoever. Donald Trump runs as a peace candidate, and now he has a difficult job of getting both sides to the table because it takes two to tango. First, they say that he's in Putin's pocket. Then when he threatens Putin with bank sanctions and sanctions as well as tariffs, and he ultimately gets Zelensky to the table, they criticize him again. But they have no plan for peace. They have no plan whatsoever. When your final election message is Trump is Hitler, and if you vote for him, you're a Nazi. That's not very uplifting. It's not very inspiring, is it?
No, it is not, and it made me laugh when I saw AOC and Bernie standing behind their, no oligarchy sign, because they're perfectly comfortable funding the oligarchies in Ukraine. They have no problem voting for U.S. tax dollars to go fund foreign oligarchies. It's just when it's the U.S. oligarchy, apparently that's when their feathers get ruffled. But they have converted to the pro-war party. We are the peace party. They are the war party. That's a complete inversion of our politics from the mid-'90s and early 2000s. And I think it's a consequence of Donald Trump just shaping this party in his image. And, look, there's a lot of places on the planet Earth where there's still a lot of bad folks. And Trump is not some beatnik, right? He wants to have a strong, capable, effective military. But what we're not going to do is, get our nation's credibility drug endlessly through these regional territorial disputes that aren't core to who we are and the success of our people.
I think it is also true that they become the party of censorship. We're the party of free speech. They used to be the party of free expression. They used to hate the FBI. Now they love the FBI. Our politics are indeed completely and totally inverted. Perhaps this is why Democrats are seeing the lowest approval ratings they've had in years. Bernie Sanders used to criticize billionaires and millionaires. Watch carefully. Now he only criticizes billionaires. You know why? Because, as a result of his two campaigns for president and skimming media commissions off of both, he and his wife had become millionaires. By the way, that's not illegal, but you wonder whether he disclosed that to his donors, that when they were giving to his campaign, that he was taking 15% placement on the television and cable and radio ads.
Right, and the thing if you ever admired Bernie Sanders, what you admired him for was an authenticity, a sense that he wasn't bought, that he wasn't doing this on some sort of grift, that he actually believed in socialism as a governing political philosophy. And it turns out Bernie and his wife did not want to equally distribute the 15% or close thereto commission they were skimming off the top of ad buys and share that with all their donors. Wouldn't that have been something, Roger, if instead of keeping that money, they would have redistributed it in line with their politics? But indeed, it turns out in the chest cavity of some of the most effective political socialists in America beats the heart of a true capitalist, because that made them considerably wealthier. Now, the problem that Democrats have is in the absence of a policy that they're fighting for, right? You can love Obama, you can hate Obama. I thought he was a terrible president, and I actually still think we're enduring a lot of the pain from the Obama presidency. At least Obama was running on policy proposals that he intended to do if elected, and in the case of healthcare, he in fact did do, right? Whereas now, it's like you said, the organizing philosophy of the political left is that the right are Nazis. And that's the reason you don't really want to play that card as much as they did is that if it doesn't work, where do you go from there, right? What are you going to have to start saying about members of Congress who are Democrats who are doing bills with Republicans? And there still are a few who do that. What are you going to say about governors who have to work with Republican legislators who are on the other side of the aisle? And so it has created such a niche movement. And indeed, within that niche movement, there is energy and passion and enthusiasm and all the they, them you can get your hands on. But I don't know that it's something that's going to result in winning elections. That's something we talk a lot about on my program, is the path to majorities in the Congress. And what you and I both know is that the path to the majority in the House indeed does run through red or purple districts in blue states. You got to win Orange County, California. You got to win Central and Upstate New York. And in a lot of those places, the map is getting better for us because where you've got a Governor Kathy Hochul, where you've got a Governor Gavin Newsom allowing the state to be lit on fire, you're able to make a really compelling case about our brand, and it's a tailwind that the Democrat brand is in the shape it's in. 27% of Americans have a favorable view of Democrats. That is historically low, but it is not a function of El Nino or climate change. It's a function of the choices they've made, the rhetoric they've used, and the lack of policy leadership that they now can gravitate to.
We also, however, I think have to be very demanding when it comes to honest elections. I mean, these recent elections in Orange County, California, which you mentioned, it is undeniable that more people voted than are registered to vote in at least two of those congressional districts. And to me, that is troubling. I also look at the 14th District of Florida, where a abnormally high number of people who sent in mail-in ballots, those ballot applications have no social securities or birth dates on them. I think the voters must insist on honest elections if we are to rebuild our House majority. Matt, with about a minute to go, and then we can come back. Any doubt whatsoever that Jimmy Petronis, who I love, is going to win your seat on April 1st in the special election?
No, I have no doubt that Jimmy Petronis will win. He will be my successor as the congressman for the 1st District, and I'm counting on him to do a great job, and I think he will. Jimmy is a public servant at heart. He really cares about people. I think he'll be the kind of congressman who does tremendous work on constituent service, who's a great fighter in the halls of Congress, and we'll be there to cheer him on along the way and make sure he's successful.
Yeah, I think he's a very, very good man. He's a principled conservative. He is a real supporter and advocate for the taxpayers, and I share your view. So we'll be right back with the great Matt Gaetz. He has a great new show at One America News. You're going to check that as well. Don't go away, folks. We're right back with Matt Gaetz.
This is the Roger Stone Show.
This episode is brought to you by GM Genuine Parts and AC Delco. Get the most out of your vehicle with GM Genuine Parts and AC Delco original equipment. The only parts designed, engineered, tested, and backed by General Motors. You can find your perfect fit for most makes and models and choose from 3 tiers of parts, including GM OE or gold and silver aftermarket parts. Visit gmparts.com for more information.
This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit TemptationsTreats.com to learn more.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Underwear drawers are like the Wild West. You never know what you're going to pull out or what shape it's in. So upgrade your collection with the buttery soft comfort of MeUndies. MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. Plus, it's breathable and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear. Get 20% off your first order, plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/Spotify with code Spotify. That's MeUndies.com/Spotify, code Spotify.
Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, and Donald Trump.
They went after a guy named Roger Stone, who's sitting in the office. And I'll say this in front of Roger, he's no baby. And right now, he's cleaner than anybody in this place. No, they treated him very unfairly.
All of these presidents relied on one man to secure their seat in the Oval Office. That man is Roger Stone.
Roger Stone.
This is the Roger Stone Show, presented by Colonial Metals Group. Now, here's Roger Stone.
And we're back with Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is the host of the Matt Gaetz Show on One America News, where he is emerging as one of the most influential conservative and pro-Trump voices in the country with his keen political insights and his bold commentary, and we are very happy to have him. Matt, I want to ask you a tough question about the continuing resolution that allowed our government to continue to function. As conservative Republicans, we don't love these. We consider it putting a Band-Aid on a serious problem. We had your former colleague and friend, Eric Burleson, on a couple weeks ago, who explained, I think, very succinctly why he reluctantly decided to vote yes. Also note that Tim Burchett, another member that I greatly respect and like, also decided in the end to vote yes. Had you been in the House, what would you have done with this thorny problem?
I would have labored over it because I agree with every argument made by Thomas Massie when he voted no. I likely would have been, though, with my colleagues who supported it to get it over to the Senate to serve the volley. And the Senate almost blinked. They almost gave in to their base. And Roger, had Chuck Schumer not changed sides at the last minute on the continuing resolution, if he had done what he was signaling he was going to do and moved us into a shutdown, that would have converted Doge from Bruce Banner to the Incredible Hulk. That would have given Elon Musk and crew enormous power to dismantle programs, do away with funding streams, and try to reset the balance of federal spending in a way that's fair to Americans who shouldn't be shouldered with all this debt.
The way the Democrat left has turned on Chuck Schumer has been a sight to see. He is actually vulnerable, in my opinion, in a New York State Democrat U.S. Senate primary to AOC. Firstly, she has the ability to raise millions and millions of dollars at the grassroots. Secondarily, I point out that she beat one of your former colleagues, Joe Crowley, who was actually the chairman of the Queen's Democrat machine, as well as being a member of Congress. That tells you where the Democrat Party is at the grassroots in New York State now. It is the party of bail reform. It is the party of high taxes. It is the party that is soft on crimes. It is the party that has made New York the economic basket case that it is today. And Chuck Schumer, they've now suddenly decided is too moderate for them. I think he could be in serious trouble. I have no doubt about his fundraising capabilities, but the Democrat Party has changed very dramatically since Chuck Schumer came out of the New York State Assembly.
Well, let me put it to you perhaps even more directly than that. If you're an old straight white guy in the Democratic Party, they're coming for you. They did it to Elliot Engel. They did it to Joe Crowley. They have a particular way of doing it in New York, and they will DEI you out of the party one way or the other. Maybe it's that you're too moderate. Maybe it's that you took a vote they didn't like. Maybe it's just that they have another aspiring star that they would rather give the opportunity to. And I am going to disagree with you on AOC running. I do think she would win. I don't think she will be running for the Senate in 2026 because I believe that AOC, with Bernie Sanders by her side, is going to be running for president of the United States in 2028. And I don't think she wants to jump directly from a Senate campaign to the Democratic primary, but expect to see her in that presidential field and to use her position in the House to continue to put pressure on people who represent the Chuck Schumer wing of the Democratic Party, whatever that even is anymore.
I agree with that. There were those in 2014 who urged Donald Trump to run for governor of New York, and he had his eye on a much, much bigger prize. I think that is a very similar situation where she doesn't have to risk a U.S. senator. So I agree with your analysis. All I'm saying is that in a theoretical race, I think he would be vulnerable. I think you're right. I think she goes right to the big leagues, and frankly, she would be she'd be a credible, from their point of view, viable candidate for their nomination. Although the polls overwhelmingly
who would you take to beat her? Who would you like if you've got the field and I've got AOC? Oh, what are you feeling good about Gavin Newsom? Way too straight, way too male, way too white. Are you betting on Whitmer? I don't know. I think that's going to be. She'll probably be like the Amy Klobuchar of the field. Sort of not all that interesting lady from the Midwest. But who do you have winning the Democratic primary in 2028? If not AOC?
Well, the current frontrunner, of course, would be Kamala Harris, and the polls show it. She may make an intermediate stop at the governorship of California, although I would argue that she doesn't need to do so if she actually aspires to run again, which she might. I'll tell you who I don't think will get off the ground is J.D. Pritzker. That guy's so fat he's got his own zip code. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking about, but he's emulating in Illinois the no bail policies that so terribly hurt New York State. He's now emulating them in Illinois, which is why Chicago is out of control when it comes to skyrocketing violent crime. But he's going
to be the Chris Christie of the field. He's definitely the Chris Christie of the field, somebody who never really makes it above single digits in their percentages. Look, this is becoming a very angry, very radical, very exclusionary group of people, and I think that bodes very well for Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez's prospect to lead the party. They're not going to go back to Harris. They're not going back to steal a line from a particular campaign. They're not going back. They are indeed burdened by what's been. She may run for governor of California. If she does that, she'll probably win. But I'm telling you, Roger, when we were out on that campaign, we heard so many stories, saw so many things that showed even in a condensed contest that really she was not emotionally up for it. And there are, I don't, that's not a gendered comment. There are a lot of men who aren't emotionally up for it. Maybe Ron DeSantis was one of them, actually. But she certainly was drinking heavily on the campaign. She was constantly berating staffers. I think she would far prefer the friendly confines of the Golden State to live out her political twilight.
So with about a minute and a half left, we have an activist judge in D.C. who tells the President of the United States that he cannot deport dangerous criminals and terrorists. What should the President do about this?
Ignore those orders. The judges don't get to conduct foreign policy, and when they start trying to, we should not indulge their dalliances. The Constitution is clear on this question. The President has plenary power to conduct foreign policy of the United States. There's an invasion going on. And look, we cannot live in a world where every single federal judge can issue a nationwide injunction and constrain the progress of this movement. I don't think it's the first order that's going to be ignored.
All right. Bold words from our guest. Bold words from our guest, Matt Gaetz. Matt, thank you so much for joining us this day on The Roger Stone Show. We very much appreciate it. Make sure you check out Matt Gaetz' new show, The Matt Gaetz Show, on One America News. It is hot as a pistol. It's a great show. I've enjoyed being on. Matt, thanks for joining us today.